Hey, how y'all doing out there this evening? I'm running a little late as usual, but I told y'all I was gonna. Yeah, well, baby girl up, I guess. I told y'all I was gonna talk about these teas and or these and some different ways of doing stuff that you can do at home. Well, one of them you gotta do at home because you ain't gonna come here and take a bath. I don't even take a bath here. I take showers. But anyway, um, then maybe it'll make it easier on you because general consensus kind of leans towards people don't like to really make the tea. It's the making part of it. It always gets confusing just to take a teaspoon of it and put it in some boiling water, and let it boil about halfway down, which normally takes, if you throw about 24 ounces of water in there, that normally takes, about 40, 45 minutes at a nice rolling boil, and then just cut the heat off and let it sit there and then pour it up. But, the whole point of that or where the time could have been spent when you make a routine out of it and you're thinking about your health, you're thinking about the things in the tea, maybe researching one of them while you're waiting. You're touching the medicine, you're physically touching the mushrooms or the herbs and all that, whatever's in there, whatever's in the tea. And this way, you're going to be doing that for damn sure one way. Well, both ways, actually. So you got the tea, and let's say you had a breathing issue, and or you had the Breathe Easy tea. So it's a tea that you can make as a tea, but that's more for long-term healing and consistent healing. But also, you can breathe the steam in on it and all that stuff. But in a vapor, in an alcohol tincture, it acts as a vapor. You can just put a little bit on a rag, breathe it in, and it's like, and I'm telling you, everybody out there that's ever gotten it, the Breathe Easy tincture, they know what I'm talking about. And matter of fact, I got a couple examples of some stuff today. But there it is in its tea form. Oh man, that smells great. I got wild peppermint in here, mullein, eastern white pine needles, dried, right, not too much oil, as a little white cedar leaf, some usnea, the best things in the world for the lungs and producing oxygen while you're active, especially if you're active. It keeps you going. And yeah, I use them plastic containers. I've had those for about 4 years now, maybe 5. But anyway, you can take that and buy it as a tea for $35 or a tincture for $35. But if you buy it as a tea and you buy your own pint of alcohol or maybe even a quart, because I think one 50-gram bag of that would probably make a quart, but it would do a quart jar. And put your golden grain or your 95% alcohol over it. Or if you want to use whatever you want to use, it's yours. But it's quicker and you get the more vapory effect with the 95%. Fix it up. Now, if you made a pint, now you got 16 ounces. You see, you got 16 ounces. So that would be 8 2-ounce bottles. So that would be 8 times 35 if you bought them at 30. You'd have it for as long as you needed it, and it lasts longer. But like I said, most people, this is a very tasty one. It's got wild peppermint and just mixing. Since everybody want a little bit better taste, I'm gonna give you some damn better taste. And you're going to be saying, Bill, that's better tasting right there. Bill, you did a good job. And the mix of it, cause I drink, this is one of my regular teas. I'm a dumbass smoker. This used to be called smoker's cough tea. And just breathe easy sounds a lot better. And it actually does help you breathe easy. And then it was breathe easier when I added the usnea, which gave lung oxygen production in your lungs, even with COPD, emphysema, or really any lung ailments. And it's really great to have around in the refrigerator as a tea. They got that Theraflu and that Tylenol cold and flu, and they make it like a hot water drink or something like that Theraflu. That shit's easy because it's in a fucking bag, and you just pour hot water in it. You got diphenhydramine and acetaminophen in there. They're both going to go right after the liver. It's going to break down their immune system, not build it up. It's just a remedy for how bad they feel. And they just sleep. Why? So if you just want to sleep, what? Smoke a joint or something. But anyway, I'm just trying to say, man, all that crap, you know, to break you down, possibly make you sicker, and or prolong your sickness. So, well, you don't, you know, just whatever. That's up to you. But you could also make a cup of this, and you're gonna the congestion is gonna be gone. All of that. Eastern white pine needles, y'all, were one of the biggest like surprise trendy type sales that hit back in 2020 with the coronavirus thing, because of the 5G disrupting the breathing, you know, your lungs, and it's causing little small blood clots in there, and people having hard time breathing. So they go to the hospital. And they're all racked up with 5G because their equipment runs off the 5G. So they're sitting in there and they're anxious because they want to get to see the doctor. But there's all these other people. And they're sitting out, they're breathing heavier, and they go, wow, Mr. Sister, you're breathing very heavy. You got the coronavirus. You just tested positive, even though we don't know what that means. So we're going to take you up here and put you on a ventilator. And only a half a person out of 10 people walked away from the ventilator. In other words, 95% of the people died on ventilators. And all they needed was a fucking oxygen drip and just to be taken out of the frequencies. So we want to be always focusing on our circulatory system and our pulmonary system, our breathing, our heart, and our blood, and how it gets around us, because that's what's being attacked by anybody, vaxxed or not, with the frequencies. Okay, so there's one way. Another way is these beautiful mushrooms called Ganoderma species. You got the Gannett lucidum, which y'all call the red varnish species. It's the more popular one because it's very easy to grow, and they grow them indoors, and they all look the same, like little pie plates, and they're real cool looking, and they make a tasty tea. But they're indoor grow, so they don't get the blue spectrum light from the sun, or the blue spectrum radiation from the sun, which is being blocked back a lot of times by the chemtrails. And hey, James, hey, Kelly, hey, Lana. And Lana, I'm about to show what you're going to get to here in a little bit. And so it's only got 12% of the medicinals. That's why they're so cheap online. They can just sit there and pop out you take something about the size of your, a living area where in front of the 6-foot, HD TV and where the fireplace used to be, and all big fucking sectional couch going around where everybody sleeps anyway, because nobody gets away from the TV, but they're on the cell phone while they're watching TV. Now, y'all didn't think I was going to say something like that, did you? Because I don't got the TV, but I got the cell phone part. I know the words. I'm just as guilty. But, and wow, no matter what kind of devices you got, the frequencies are always in the air anyway. I think that little debate got shot down pretty quick with that, just the reality of that. People saying, well, you got a phone, you're getting a 5G, so why are you complaining about it? It's like, well, let me tell you, I'll go in and tell you there, Game Boy. You come out the basement for a minute and take the headset off, and we just talk, the frequencies are in the air, so. And it's a war for the mind, and these social media platforms are fucking battlefields. Now, that's the way I look at it. And I mean, you can say I'm crazy about that. You can say I'm making it sound more, whatever. Just fucking weird or like it means something, because it does. War for the mind. People lose their mind out here. They get their mind changed. They get their mind twisted out here, don't they? Minds get minded very well by these motherfuckers out here. That's why they made this shit. Hey, Shaky, how you doing, honey? I'll be show you what we're coming together, what I got to go with all this. And y'all, Shaky is behind this bad thing that I'm going to be talking about. I've been reading lots of stories. I mean, I've really been sitting on my ass a lot, but I'm reading it, and that reading is, well, I like reading, so fuck off. But I'm sore from it too. Could use one of these hot bad myself there, Shaky. But about bath therapy and aromatherapy, and I always leave, like, you got people that deal with medicinals, then people that do that in a way of selling to people that turn it into holistic medicine, or use that type of approach to healing, letting people heal themselves, or whatever. So there's different levels of it. And I always let the people that do aromatherapy or do essential oils, they all have their place and everything's good. Look into 2,000-year-old traditional Hindu medicine where they rub the oils into their belly button and about 1.5 inches around it, and they rub it in real good. And that could probably help some relationships out there, by the way. Say, yeah, I need some pain relief, baby. Rub this oil in my belly button. But anyway, wow, that wouldn't be a bad idea. Just saying. And you got that be the medicine soak in that way, because that's where you were fed in one time. And you got Western medicine tries to deny 2,000-year-old practice medicine and 5,000-year-old Chinese traditional medicine practiced for over 5,000 years. But it ain't tested on humans. But the monkeys interested, okay? But anyway. There's a lot of methods than having to go sit down and make the T-bill sent. And he wrote the instructions on the side of the bag. And some of us can't write straight. I can't read it. I can't get him on the fucking messenger. He ain't answering the phone today. He must be digging up some more sassafras or something. Which is actually... that part's true like right now, and there's a bunch to get, and I'm going to get it before it gets cold again, so I am playing a window, but I've also been researching this stuff that Shaky opened up, this, good kind of Pandora's box. Hey, Brandon, how you doing, brother? Long time. Hey, Gary, what's going on, brother? This bad thing, right, one, it's wintertime. I'm going to get one thing straight real quick. I have a problem with people laying in a tub of fluoride chemical waste for 20, 30 minutes. But guess what? I just so happened to find some proof on this. It was just a thought. I was like, well, damn, that Ganoderma lucidum and applanatum, when they're combined, they get this, like, toxic eating superpowers. So somewhere around a gram of reishi mushrooms is going to be in there anyway. All right, it's going to be it's part of it. It's part of the spiritual part, the calming part, the skin and all that part of this type of therapy and healing. But it's going to eat the toxins right out the fucking water. There you go. It ain't going to be soaking into your skin, and your skin is going to be detoxing from the sassafras root bark. But you have to have some of that pretty here. And look how it's running low, ain't it? That's why I'm out there digging it out, okay? The mullein I'm using, look at the color I still got on my mullein. I only got broken down pieces because I broke it all down. Ain't that some nice, still pretty lime green second year leaf right there? Got a little lambs here too, but I can't show you that because y'all be turning into haters after a while. I keep showing y'all this. Now, the mullein, I'm gonna read some of this I got down. I told y'all I had notes last night, and you gotta take notes when you're doing a lot of reading and stuff. But so anyway, the mullein. It calms the redness and dryness of with its dry skin problems, or if you have any type of lack of oil, natural oil in your skin or whatever. Rashes, itchy spots. Let's see, eczema. There's two of these I'm going to mention. I don't have 3 of them. I do not have, but one of them I got the mullein, the reishi, and the sassafras, and that's what was in. And hey, Susan, how you doing, honey? And that's what was in Chucky's tea. So. Well, my bad, bath tea. There you go. And let's see, joint pain, muscle pain, and for softer skin. Mullein, the only thing about the mullein, and I wonder about the tingly part, Shaky, that you were mentioning, with the bath, that is. But the mullein's got kind of a little, on the leaves, like they call it cowboy toilet paper. And it's soft as fuck, but don't fall for that soft, man. Don't fall for that soft. That's little bitty, green little bitty, they're not spikes and they're not stickers, but they work in the same manner. And they'll crawl up in the pore of your skin and just start working in. Like them little crawlies, the creepy crawlies used to put in your little top of a piece of tall grass, you put it in and go, say, whatever, start saying something and it go right down the back of your throat. These go right into your pores, make you itch. So I wonder if that was the tingling or not. So what you do with the mullein is you steep it beforehand. You put it in, take a handful of it and put it in, roughly, I would say a quart of water at least. And just hot boiling water, and then cut the heat off and just let it steep in the hot, formerly boiled water for about 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and then run it through some, like a pair of pantyhose or some cheesecloth or those little bags they got to do it with. I got a couple of them. that I do it with. It's just a fine mesh and it catches it. So you won't have to worry. And then you got the water in there for the tea. And that's now that's about how much molding it takes. Each one of these takes well, I'll make some. Hold on. I got it here somewhere, but it only takes up to a tablespoon. I think you can go anywhere from a teaspoon to a tablespoon, which a tablespoon's what, 3 teaspoons? So there you go. And you got to, that was one thing I was going to ask you, Shaky. How much did you said you just put a pinch in there. So what's a pinch now? Because I've been pinched, by girls in elementary school, and I've been pinched by old ladies on the cheek. So there's a lot of different kind of pinches. Hey, Tiana, how you doing, honey? Yeah, I mean, the only way to detox from these pedophiles is not to, you gotta go a little bit to the MAGA side, not the dark MAGA like Elon Musk, but you just gotta say, hey, until the Democrats or somebody in the government does something about these, because I can't, nobody's going to stand up and, I wish parents would, but I hate to get off the subject what I'm talking about, but I'm glad you said that, Tiana. I'll get serious. I wish a bunch of parents would, and I would join them, because I ain't got nothing to lose. Our children that's been hurt, or even by these motherfuckers, or just by the system of pharmakia witches and dope dealing fucking pharmakia witches, and the fucking big oil and their bullshit and selling us the same crap while we got all this high tech and we're still on the same gasoline engine for 120 something years. So what the fuck, man? I think parents should stand up. Single parents, any trans parents. I don't give a fuck what they trans parents. That sounds pretty cool. But I don't care what you are. You got youngins and you want a future for them. They don't got one. And maybe, by the way, if you could get rid of some of them aches and pains and some good clean thoughts, because that was one thing that Shaky brought up, was the fact that she said the aroma from it, the sassafras root bark, which is what the Cherokee primarily used it for, was a relaxing type of feeling, which causes what? That's part of the overall problem, the whole problem, the holistic approach to you feeling better. It's wintertime, a hot bath's always good. But like I said, the chemicals and the shit in there's fucked up. The reishi mushroom, eat that. I'm not going to say it's going to be as clean as distilled water. I didn't say that. But, and another thing you can do, well, I'll leave that alone. I'll probably get in trouble for that amongst everything else. But I say it, man. You can use, like rainwater to flush your toilet, man. All you got to do is have a catch system and a little sump pump in it just to get it to wherever you're going to flush it. But you could also fix that up in the shower. That runs through one of them little coil hot water heaters. They just run on demand. And you'd be fine, man. That's what we had in West Virginia. And it came off a cistern, so it was just gravity fed. It was barely dripping out. It already got the hot water thing worked very well. Matter of fact, most times you just had to go boil some fucking water. But, let's see what it says. Yeah, that's the combination of the reishi and the sassafras. This has got the real sweet root beery kind of smell. And then you add the reishi, which has got its own nice, real deep, brown mushroomy smell. I love some reishi, y'all. Reishi tea to me is just amazing, because you feel better drinking it. And by the way, so I can just say, you've seen I got every fucking thing. There's some ground reishi. Oh, that light makes it look kind of tan. This is a nice dark brown. I'll probably start sneezing here in a minute. Now I see why my nose runs so much. And by the way, I sit here where it's a light even more bright than that, and I go with my inspection method. Well, I can clean it off too before I do it. And I look through all this stuff. I mean, people's got some trigger hairs, and if you got them, I want you to please send them back. I'll pay the postage if you got some trigger hairs. Just sentimental reasons. It's being a little nostalgic, The mouse shit, I didn't charge you for that. I just want you to remember that. I didn't charge you for it. If I didn't charge you for it, then what are you bitching about? Extra protein. I'm kidding. I'll probably lose some business right there, but it ain't about business. We can't have some good time, a good time talking about our health or learning something. Everything just can't keep being all this stuff we're watching, y'all. This is what I was trying to talk about last night. It gets to everybody after a while, but I don't ever feel like I can pull away, but I don't really want to. I don't know. Part of me's done got to where it's not that it's not drama filled. It's not giving me adrenaline rushes. I mean, I'm very honest about it. I think it's just always feeling like you're getting a little bit closer. You just got to, I don't know. It's like reaching the bottom of the swimming pool when you're a little kid. You hold your breath and you're trying to swim down, and You get about 6 feet, in the 12-foot part of them, you get about 6 feet the first time. Takes you several dives down there till you get to the bottom. I just want to see the bottom of this bullshit now, but here you go. Pain. Well, wow, what causes a lot of the nerve pain that you have, what they call it fibromyalgia, which I was diagnosed with that by one doctor, and then another doctor laughed at the fucking diagnosis a couple years later. And so whatever on that, it's basically your nerve endings back between your shoulder blades, across your shoulders, up into the first part of your neck, even down some people's back a little bit, but mostly across your shoulders. That says like a burning fucking, and spikes in, comes out of nowhere sometimes. And all that suffer from it, I don't anymore either anyway, because if I could tell you how to do it, I'd tell you right now. I've learned to control most of my pain with my mind, because I was on opiates for damn near 11 years prescribed. No water in my lower back, and they wanted to do the right thing, and the neck was even worse, but I didn't have no problem with my neck. I just think about them 10 and a half years or so. I wouldn't take another pain pill, man. It wouldn't matter. It's not that it don't even kill pain. It just fucks you up. Period. That's what it does. It does not kill nerve pain. Like opiate. I'm talking about opiates now. I'm not talking about some of their, like, Neurontin, which will make you hallucinate and completely destroy your fucking liver. Or what's the other one they got out there to, anyway, I can't remember that shit, because I don't wait. How did going to the hospital or the doctor about every fucking crack nail and every fucking time that the kids, it's their checkup time? Why do you think there's so many checkups? It's a money thing first. But the more they get you in there, the more you're into that system. You got money going to it. Now you're counting it in monthly bills ahead of time, because the kids got checkups, health checkups, bills, welfare checkups. Well, not welfare checkups. Don't get none of them. But you know what I'm saying? I mean, it's not ever getting good for the kid. It normally leads to a vaccine or something, or a couple of them. You don't take a well kid to the fucking doctor. Back when I was coming up, they called that a hypochondriac. You turn that kid into a Waldo, man, where he's always walking around with a tissue like fucking Erica Kirk, but it's dry because he ain't got no runny nose or nothing. Ain't nothing wrong with him. Ain't nothing wrong with a bunch of these kids, man. It's just what they put them on because of the reactions they had to giving at birth vaccines and a few of them after that. And wow, they're going to make a big deal out of that. Y'all notice that? Don't HCC, how you doing, honey? Nah, it's not. If one's coming to an end, that means another one's going to come around. So this one does got to come, the world, but not the earth. But I know what you're saying. I know you're worried about it. And if you got like Fox News on in the house or any mainstream news, you probably do well to cut that shit off and put some music on, But, or, remember the Calgon commercial? It was like, Calgon, take me away. And then, woman's going through a bunch of shit, and all of a sudden a box of Calgon rolls up on her. And all of a sudden everything's, steamy and flowers and like on a tropical beach, but all of a sudden it's got a bathtub right there with some Calgon. Took her away, didn't it? Go through some of the things. You add the stinging nettle into it. Because the base of this is the way I'm going to do it. Matter of fact, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Any of the 6 that I have available or that you can get yourself, you can mix and match as you want for your own health. Because you can I'll give you a reference point on the T page to go back and go look at it. Go look in the photos. I mean, I don't have to set that shit up. I ain't a pure person. I don't got a mushroom for that. Matter of fact, the mushroom tells you to get away from this, Anyway. I talked about the eczema. There's 3 of them that take care of eczema. Athlete's foot, rashes, swelling, itching, poison ivy, poison oak, hives, bites, hay fever, acne. That's just the jewelweed alone. You can put jewelweed in your bathtub. You can get jewelweed and put it in, mix it in a blender with about like 40% water, just enough to make it good and mushy, and then pour it into ice cube trays. Put them in the freezer, and then when somebody gets poison ivy, they're just itchy from, the summer sun, a little sunburn or something, from the, whatever. You just break the ice cube out and rub it over. And if somebody's, having an allergic reaction to something, they can suck on the damn ice cube, because that's a natural and a great natural antihistamine, period. Now, I like this with the Plantago, which is broadleaf plantain. It does burns and cuts. It detoxes the skin, as well as mullein detoxes and softens the skin, as well as stinging nettles detoxes and softens the skin, as well as sassafras root bark and the reishi, the two rishis, by the way, because I'm gonna put some of that sagai in there so that help hopefully soak in some thinking juice. There you go, some thinking fuel, and you get to thinking. That's how we're gonna get out of this, right? I mean, anyway. But that detox in the skin is very important. So you're talking about whatever you got submerged in the tub. And I would think, if I did my math right, and I know I did, so I don't even know why I said that. Your basic tub, as you would say, like you see in most households, not the big round ones like you see in the trailers now. But, and actually they're close to the same, only about 5 more gallons more. But, you're looking at pretty much a 30-gallon bath would take a tablespoon. So if you take less than that, you'd be fine, man. You'll be fine. You think 30 gallons, that's not enough. That's a bunch. Especially when it's good hot water, that you put it in right when you're rolling the water, except for the mullein. You want to do the mullein. I've never done it before, but the way that lady described it, and these Appalachia, old school timey healers, the way she put it, I liked it. They just got the little things in there that come out. Matter of fact, the jewel weed is good for, the plantain is good for, relieving the itch from mullein leaf. Go carry some of them. I carry them on my shoulder, but when it gets on the side of my neck a little bit, I just be hoping there's some rain that night so I can get a shower. Alcohol. Or beach hazel, even the cheap wheat hazel. That's just a great antiseptic right there, as is all of these as well. But the Reese's a toxin eater that's going to eat the toxins out of water while it's detoxing your skin. Hey, Tyrell, how you doing, brother? Eczema, psoriasis, yeah, I go with, yes, with the mullein leaf, and it treats the psoriasis. Now, I had that in my 3-in-1, and there was a brother out here, and I ain't seen him in a while, man, and I just hope the best. Let's put it that way. When I don't see somebody for a while, that way, especially when we did a lot of business, it's either, I hope they healed themselves and they got their lives back, their health back, and they're doing, that's the whole point. But, some of them may relapse and done something stupid like take that shot or whatever. You know what I'm saying, y'all. You don't know these days. Sudden death ain't nothing. They got sudden adult death syndrome and sudden infant death syndrome. Wow. Wow. It's right there in our faces, so we got to take care of this. You can spend this winter getting your one thing, all these too, while you're soaking in a tub, that's one of the best things and the easiest, and for the lazy person that wants to lose weight, you want to lose weight, but you're lazy as fuck, then soak in a hot tub with some Epsom salt and stuff, because you can add to this. Just don't have no bad interactions with nothing. And I better put some damn battery on here. I just thought about that. They didn't plan on being here that long. Or on that long. But anyway, what we got here. Well, I know what I can do. Come on, Mainberry. That's the other thing too. Whatever you can do right now, we shouldn't have to be scrimping on power bills and water bills. But your toilet flushing is your biggest waste of water, and long showers. So time yourself in there in the bathtub. Try to get it down to a certain thing. They do it in the Navy, so it's possible. And well, you ain't gonna know about it, are you, Tyrell? Electricity or the gas. Why you got your hot water heater on when you go to work? Why is the hot water heater always on? Because in Australia and Japan, they got light switches on them motherfuckers. They got electric hot water heaters, and when they got an on-off switch, so when they go somewhere, they cut it off. They're sitting there cooking water for, 8-10 hours a day while you ain't even in the house. Some of y'all 12, 14 hours while you're not in the house, and you just cooking hot water. Might come home with a buzz and not even need a hot water heater for 24 to 36 hours for your stinking ass takes another bath. So, think about that. That's a lot of goddamn power going right there. And a lot of wasted water because, you know, it steams out. But, let's see, get that right there real quick. All right, there we go. Hope that works. Yeah, man. I don't really want to. Yeah, there we go. Now this here is an ounce of the combo of the Reese and the base. If I was going to put mullein, I probably wouldn't put it in here. I would probably just send it with it so you can do it like with the steeping. Because I'm not going to be responsible for skin rashes when you're trying to, like, you got everything in the world to keep you from getting skin rashes. So you just got to do it properly, all right? But, and this is a tablespoon, by the way, the old-timey kind. And, so I'd say, you know, a good level tablespoon or down to a teaspoon or half of one of these. Play with it, but don't go throwing the whole damn thing in there or half of it or a quarter of it. I can smell this. My whole camper smells like sassafras. That licorice smell you talking about, Shaky. So I love it. So, but that means it's strong. I don't put pieces of wood and the bark of the tree, sassafras tree in this. That is pure. That's why it's so tan. That is pure powdered root bark. That's about 2 foot off a root this big around. Now I had to dig down about 3 or 4 feet to get all the way down to it with crisscrossing roots of other trees and stuff. Then I got to scrape it off and make sure I get it all up and then clean it, do it, blah, blah, blah. That's fine. That's fine. I ain't trying to make it sound like it's something hard to do. I'm just saying that's pure fucking root bark. That's like 200 something bucks a pound. So I'm going to do ounces for 35. Now, 8 of that's for melon. That used to be 6. Now it's $8 for melon, but I'm not going to change my price because of that. But that's a half an ounce of the sassafras root bark and a half an ounce of the reishi. And that's what you need to get the thing started. If you want the mullein, the mullein will come with it, you know. I mean, that don't matter. I don't, you know, that just depends on the, like I said, there's a whole list of things that each one of these are going to add. Plantain, if any, and by the way, if you have mullein essential oil or these other ones, that's why I've been talking to Pat, and Pat's probably going to put a line out on it, and I hope she does, of essential oils that you could probably add to the tub. But I got to thinking about that, you know, got to put the oil in the tub. I mean, I was going to be making on cleaning, you know, but, or so tincturing even. So to tea or not to tea, well, you can take a bath with this right here, or you can make a tea out of it with a level teaspoon and 16 ounces of water and boil it halfway down. You got a nice tea of both of those. You can put that in your coffee, or you can put it in alcohol, make an alcohol tincture, and that will make an easy pint. And you would have 16 ounces, which would be 8 2-ounce bottles, which I would, you know, for that one, I'd probably go $50. That's the other thing, too. I look at all the pricing, and I keep up with it. That's one of the things that's easy to do. All you got to do is go to eBay, just put in a certain number. Or really, I use like Star West, Botanicals and Mountain Rose Herbs a lot of times, and a Frontier. I use those 3 as a high, medium, and low price on per pound of things. And I always go by the pound price, which is cheaper than the ounce price and all that. And I still keep my stuff under that. But you know, y'all are getting this, like the double extract stuff, that's just going to spoil faster. You don't need a water-based something in there. So you got to have a way of preserving that. And, it don't really, I'm just going to say, man, from what I've seen, I mean, you know, there might be extra properties you get from a double extract. You basically get what's in the mushroom out of it. Use 95% alcohol. It might burn a little bit more than vodka or even 100 proof vodka. You can use Bacardi 151 spiced, and you'll get a nice vanilla flavor with it, and you can flavor your tinctures. But if you're going to add them into something like a tub or put it in something and just drink it down fast, that's fine. You're not going to feel it. To breathe easy, you just put it on a rag and you got to huff it, you know. But I tell you, it just clears your fucking lungs out right then. The alcohol is a very small part of that, though, but it's what it does to the cedar leaf and the eastern white pine needles, especially, and the usnea together, and it just opens you up. Unlike our government, you know. But anyway, and that's how that works. So there's all these different ways of doing this stuff. If you just bought the base tea, though, which is normally somewhere between $35 and $50, depending on what it is, you have a big supply of it. So you buy that for $35, you go get you a pint of Golden Grain. So there's another, $15 maybe at top end, at the most. So you got, $50 into 8 times 35. So you got that many tinctures. Well over, that'd be, $300-400 worth of fucking tinctures right there. And I ain't doing the math in my head right now because we've been keeping it raw over here. That's the other thing too, man. Enjoy the hemp, but they're going to try to take the hemp, y'all. I think they did pass that bill, if I'm not mistaken. The same thing before, 1937. It was never about the cannabis, which now they call it marijuana. That marijuana was the combination name. That way they could take any of it. But when they found out that certain ways of growing hemp, and you burn it or make an oil extraction from it, you get THC. And they just called it THCA, which is, I guess, THC alternative. I don't know. But to me, and most people that with serious pain issues that can't always think it away or use their mind to control the pain, hemp has always been a good, sober way of keeping the pain down. But, so what? I never had no trouble with the weed buzz. Just the fact that it's fucking illegal and it's bullshit, and since the government can't regulate it and the states bucked on them, they always act like they're going back and forth. As soon as they made that hemp drink and it made a competition for beer and alcohol, that's the other witches over there. That's the drunk witches. You got the chameleon witches, you got the pharmakia witches, then you got the drunk witches. Don't get them pissed off, because they know how mean drunks are. But I mean, you can't, some of these industries, we can't, it's why they murder holistic doctors. It's why they demonize stuff like sassafras, which, by the way, it cures cancer. So how can it cause cancer? There's 1,000 milligrams that they injected into those mice each day to get half of them to get cancer. Would be like you eating 10 tree root bark systems off 10 trees every day. And only half of you would still get cancer then. The rest of you would die from all the wood in your stomach. Anyway, no, it's banned. It's banned, and I'm selling it as a novelty, and you're putting it in a tub. It's not going in your gullet. And there's been so much controversy over it. As long as you ain't making MDA or MDMA with it, which is an ingredient for that too. So ecstasy and then MDA, which was like, wow, better than ecstasy, by the way. But anyway, that's made that. That was one of the side reasons for doing it. But wow, let's just go where I put this one on there. All right, here, this is just the sassafras root bark and what it does. All right, it's an adaptogen. So is the reishi mushroom, by the way. It helps you adapt to things, emotional, changes in your environment, changes in your grief, your loved ones, whatever. Like I said, emotional, mental, spiritual adapting, and environmental adapting. It's an adaptogen, so you adapt to things better and easier. And thinking, there you go. It's a blood tonic. It's a fever reducer. It relieves all the pain and even gives free movement from rheumatism. Gets rid of the gout. It gets rid of arthritis. Well, it makes it manageable to where you're moving again, and then you work the arthritis off. Because arthritis and gouts build up stuff, and you got to grind it down all the time, and it's painful. With a nice soak in the tub that has no toxins in there, give you cancer, by the way. Because reishi ate the toxins, right? There you go, man. You can't beat this shit with a stick, y'all. All right, headaches. The headaches from the frequencies. Now, that was already getting that from the sassafras root bark by itself. Well, with a little bit of willow bark. White willow tree bark, the weeping willow. Get those weeping limbs and get the leaves off and strip it down to the white bark on there and get all that off them limbs. That's the medicine, not the bark on the tree. That's why these people on these Amazon herbalists and mycologists, they ought to have their ass beat, man, for selling y'all shit like that. The bark on the side of a sassafras tree can be powdered up real nice, and it does have some very minor medicinal, more aromatherapy type. It's not as strong as this, but it's just nice. Cinnamon color, looks pretty. But my it's anti-parasitic, by the way. That's one thing it's good for. But they sell you that like it's the root bark. It's the sassafras root bark, not the sassafras bark or the sassafras root. and there's a white layer of bark underneath it too. That's the what we call the doo-doo right there. What kind of plant? Shaky. Oh, I think it says slow connection. I can't see what you just wrote. Patience is something else too, man. A nice roll in the tub. You're feeling better. You're getting rid of the body pain, the aches and pains, the nerve-ending pain from where you're just stressing yourself out and you don't realize it and your body's just screaming. You ain't sleeping at night because you're moogling around. You got the restless leg syndrome. You just got the restless syndrome period, man, where we live in turmoil, chaos, cats and dogs living together. But anyway, it's insane. But you know what? You can have, man, ain't Calgon. Yeah, I could say it's Bill Gone, but it ain't going to be my name. It's you going to get gone and take all that shit out of your mind, or be in a physical frame where you can meditate easier and deal with things spiritually like you should be doing, which is personal, by the way. I don't want to hear about it. Okay? Just your personal walk with your Creator. No, I'm kidding. I still don't want to hear about it. But there you go. It was the plantago, the plantain, that gives a calm spirit. It was the sassafras root bark, the aroma from it, that gives a calm, clear thinking ability. So there comes your man part, your consciousness of man. You're intelligent, Homo sapien, wise man. I still can't say it without laughing. It's better when you were just Homo erectus. I guess man always loses his erectus problem, huh? They ain't got no Viagra for Homo sapiens, do they? You can get your fucking manhood back. I ain't gonna get on the brothers tonight. But, yeah, and Tashina, when you, we don't want to talk about it on here, but, that shit's gonna come up when I'm waiting to hear from Carter and, them, but we'll take care of that later, but that never came, and you did that for Thanksgiving, and I got one from Brenda that she did 2 Mondays ago, so this Monday will be the 3rd week, and, but it's coming from Canada. And listen, y'all that work for the government of Canada, if any of y'all know any of them, or it's just like the post office people up there, and you post office people here, which ain't everybody but my postal lady and Greg Norris out here, okay? They're good postal people. The rest of them suck. All the other 100-something thousand suck. Stealing, but I don't care if them governments are having trouble and you get a paycheck from them. Just do your fucking job. One of the most important jobs out there, trusted jobs, more than a doctor and all that. We want our mail, man. That's what really started, or one of the biggest factors of starting the uprising on April 19, 1775, when we turned against the British, so to speak, or whatever the story said. They were going through our mail and reading our mail, and they were forcing their way into our houses. They wasn't even killing people really that much. It was just breaking them few little bitty rights, and we went to war. Now we can just turn our backs on them. But man, I don't have my cell phone no more. I don't know. I don't, blah, blah. I can't reach active Epstein files. Whatever, man. There's going to come time when you realize that the simple part of life, and don't wait till you, listen, y'all young people out there, don't wait till you get older. Hey, Angeline, how you doing, honey? Don't wait till you get older to get wise to this. This life was made for living. And yeah, they put a price tag on it, but that's their illusion of life. That's a paradigm. That's what they call a paradigm. It's a good example of it. And you can live like that, or you can strive to be rich and be like Andrew Tate and talk shit until you get your ass beat, stuff like that with a man with pink gloves. This world's crazy. So you don't know what's going to come at you. So live it. I did that. Now I ain't going to be honest about that because I didn't have no, I didn't have dad in the home. I didn't have any structure, however you want to put it. There might have been 5 strong women, but they always, they could already take care of themselves, much less me. So, I raised, self-made people out here, because it ain't just men, self-made people out here. They tend to not just go along with everything with the crowd. The whole social, draw, trying to be like the crowd, don't want to go against the grain, get dressed to what you think other people want you to look like, being a real life, true, in the flesh avatar, but so don't do that. Yeah, best thing you could always be, and the only thing that you can be, and the thing you're going to be best at, is being yourself. And you're doing that, man. You know, you may have 1,000 people at your job or something, or you go to school or whatever, you be popular here. The popularity part of it is normally 80-85% of it based on false illusions of appearance. So smoke and mirrors, makeup, whatever. Play football, play baseball, do something. Make sure it's seen and it's appreciated and popular. That's also why young people, one of the main reasons why young people say between the ages of 14 and 16 commit suicide, by the way, is the pressure of high school and junior high was just like a warm-up for that. Now you see why they give you 2 years like that, I reckon. But I don't know that for true now, but I'm just saying it was seen that way. But, that freshman and sophomore year, that's when you got most of your teenage suicides. They can't wait till their junior year, or maybe one summer they'll become athletic or become smarter and be on the debate team for their junior and senior year. But, it's because they can't be themselves. And school was not meant to put out smart people. It's meant to put out good workers and good prisoners. So it's doing its job. So, and we don't need the workers no more. So, wow. Now we're all fucking prisoners on this open-air prison. Who else had an open-air prison? Was it someplace in the Middle East? I can't remember the name of it right now. I'll think about it in a minute, Gaza. But, open-air prisons are easy to maintain because when nobody can go nowhere, if they can't take care of yourself, you can't take care of yourself. And I ain't talking about having a couple cases of beanie weenies down in the basement. If you can't take care of yourself and live completely without their bullshit, because that's how domesticated most of us have become. And even myself to a certain point. We're the only species on this planet that don't coexist with the planet or anything else, and it's just us. But we're also the only species that know we're going to die, and that gets played against us, so you don't go live for yourself. So the whole born, live, die thing, they controlled all three aspects of that for you. Don't wait till you're in your fucking 60s or even 50s to go walk the Appalachian Trail or to tell them, hey, at work, fuck you. I'm seeing more and more of these little mobile communities. And they're not just like, it ain't the fucking, it ain't damn Mad Max, and all that kind of shit. But it's, it looks post-apocalyptic, but they got tired of it, man. Or they lost their jobs, y'all. And they had a little bit of money left, the separation pay, a couple cars to get rid of, some hobby they spent a bunch of money in, like computers or video games, maybe a house to sell. And they sold out, got the magic bus and took off, man. Said, fuck this shit. They always say, they try to make the homeless people look bad. A lot of homeless people out there that I talk to were there because they just are like, fuck it. They were either had a bunch of shit because they had that kind of job, and they may have had that kind of income, so they had great credit, and they had that great job, and all the money that came from it went to pay for that great credit. And they lost it all, and they had no resource. Up there around places like, the only place I really seen it was the Atlanta, the metro Atlanta area. When I was up there for almost 16 months. That shit about killed me. And when they want you out, you go to work, you come home, your shit's out there, and the fucking sheriff and the deputy ain't gonna sit there and watch it, but for like an hour. They give you a phone call, maybe watch it for an hour. And then all your neighbors got your fucking shit. I saw the bunch down there, down there from where I'm at. But, and that's a big city. And that's like, 6 or 7 counties? I can't remember. 7, 8 million people right there in that one little spot. That would be what you would call a 15-minute city. And Atlanta's easy to shut down. You get 75, 85 shut off, north and south, and I got 20 and or whatever it is that goes east and west, and then you ain't nobody going nowhere. They don't hardly go nowhere in the morning and in the afternoon for the rush hour, so. But I mean, that's where we're at, y'all. So I try to make it sound a little better than it is. I mean, I don't try to make it sound any better as it is. I just don't want to give you that doom and gloom, like, if you can't eat without a grocery store, you're fucking dead! And, wow, I mean, you already know that. And people sweat that. But now you can do some good sweating. You know, detox your skin. Wow, that's a good thing to start detoxing. That's a good thing to start detoxing. That's a good place to start. I really like the way you wrote that too, Shaky. I'll have to. It's up there right now, and I really appreciate you allowing me to put that up there. And I'm, you know, I don't ask people to do that a lot, you know, because most people right off the bat I already can tell they don't want their shit out there everywhere. And hell, a lot of people's been bothered by people that's bought stuff from me or even just talked with me. So I appreciate people being here because, man, it's true. It's very, very true. You know, pimping ain't easy. Let's go look at my bitches, man. They're the most disgruntled bitches you'll ever see in the world out here. They need a bath. They need a long bath, don't they? Get a long bath with some... I tell you what, man. Anyway. So, I pretty much think I covered everything I was going to talk about. Except the last part of it, and I was kind of getting towards it. Right, you know, exactly, Angelina. Or you figure out, like, something that you want to do, and it'll take, and you're looking at, like, a 10-year time frame of serving that purpose, or even getting to where you can serve that purpose, and you're already 60, 65 years old, so now you're looking at 70, 75 years old to be peaking at it. Wow, you'll be peaking out the goddamn window because y'all been up. Whatever, but it don't matter. I'm talking about the Harsh Med and the Lady Boy and all, you know, oh man, what's his name? Robert Burt Walker, you know, snot skiners, you know, all them sorry bastards. The people that have no, well, it showed you. This internet has showed you one thing. It can trap people like that. It can trap people like that. They're living that shit, man. I mean, wow, man, you make up a whole fucking show and you give it a name, and several people have done this out here. Get the Hollywood Square boxes, get crowds, and then try to control them. Every one of them turn into control things. And then that'd be some fucking, feral fucking hater like me to get, you know, somebody just say the wrong thing about a brother or sister out here. I didn't ever go looking for none of them people. I go looking for none of them Nick Stinson fucking old person rape crews, man, rape filmers, whatever they were, man, these people were fucked up. Anybody that gives you a cuss word version of Jesus to fuck you, Jesus, yeah, I wouldn't be listening to them. They probably just got out of jail and they got some of that jailhouse religion. Yeah, they still waiting to go to court again. Yeah, the other ones though now, Angelina, yeah, there's a couple of them that threw me for a loop. But that's also, you know, you look back on that and society was not meant to be social in, and it wasn't meant to be a part of it. It was something, it's like the agitator that keeps you from sleeping well or thinking about the whole process of life that you're living, that paradigm, the societal part, the fashion, the keeping up with the Joneses, but there's always going to be somebody richer. There's always going to be somebody better looking, unless it's me, but anyway, it's always something bigger or better. And even sometimes worse or that, like a lot of people that got big hearts, that brings them down. So it's always a struggle. So nobody in society fits in. The motherfuckers that design society don't fit into society because it was not meant to. It's controlled time for the time clock at work. It's controlled everything. Everything's done in little compartments of time. Shopping, church, time with the kids. Yeah, everything's time with this, time with that. Then what do you get for vacation? Nowadays, you don't get nothing for vacation, or you come back from vacation, somebody have your job, man. Hey, won't that I'm telling you, that Elon Musk said it too. He said he wanted them 100-hour-a-week motherfuckers that wasn't going to ever leave the fucking place until they was dead. And then they bury him on the spot. Look at all the workers he got that can't speak English. Down there in Texas. Well, you know, it's a good thing, Angelina. The holidays are over, y'all. I mean, you got, well, be careful of January 1st. It's not the new year, but it's treated that way since it's the day that most people die on. So, you know, if we had to pick days when somebody died or whatever, January 1st is the day. So I guess, you know, starting from the countdown, everybody gets that hyped up, you know, 10, 9, 8, and everybody drunk shit, amateur night drinking. And all of a sudden that rush, adrenaline rush from Happy New Year, and all of a sudden everybody wants to go do something. Most time they go do them another bump of some coke or something. They get in the car and fucking kill somebody. So it ain't really funny, but that's a hell of a fucking statistic. And a false holiday. There's actually, some people say it's the spring solstice or April 1st, and that's why you got April Fool's Day. But whatever, it don't matter. We let this end, and we start our own way, or you start your own way, or any of that. And hey there, Mr. Lair or Mrs. Lair. You can do anything you want. Make the holidays what you want. All that stuff is structured around bullshit they lied about that did have power. So learn where the real power came from. You're not going to get that until you can relax. What else do you relax around here? That's why they outlawed that shit. And it's too fucking good. But anyway. Oh, wow, Angelina, I'm sorry about that, honey. You know, I've been seeing a lot of that, too, and all of y'all out here that's, you know, it's even family members. Trust me when I tell you, I'm very sorry, and that's all you can really tell anybody, and that like in no way blowing them off or anything. If they're really sad about something, especially, you know, a very close loved one or whatever, or a group of them, like five, like Angelina saying, 5 of her friends, you know, in 1 year, that's way above what any of us ever experienced, and it is time for a lot of that for people, our parents and so forth and so on, you know, but it is excessive, and just tell them that you love them. Tell them that you love them, and if they detox their skin, they feel a lot better. I'm kidding. But it really ain't, y'all. I mean, I'm gonna, I think I got my way. I'll have to tell you later, but, I drink the tea from this, so I get it in a different, but it's the same way, but I'm not getting that skin detox. I'm really thinking about that. I've got scar tissue on my arms for where the camo's melted to me in the camper fire, and I'm thinking I can get some, I want to see what it does with them scars, and then I'll holler at you. If it does what I think it's going to do over a good period of time, you know, maybe a few months, man, I'll be keeping notes, trust me, and you'll know something about scarring. Oh, acne and teenage acne, and I need to get with Melanie on that. But also drinking lots of water and pushing it out and using astringents like witch hazel for acne, for the face on acne, not alcohol. If you dry it out too much, the oil's going to come back real hard, and that's going to block up. It's going to be thicker oil, skin oil, so don't do that. Anyway, just learn your fucking body and leave me alone. I believe that's about it, y'all. I'm going to get off here and just let you know, man, you can get any of this stuff and you can do it any kind of way you want. Even the way I decarb my mushrooms, which means bring them up to a certain heat so the medicinals do come out. And I was tripping on that to begin with, but I've actually perfected it now. You can put them in capsules. Just learn how many, or I'll tell you how many milligrams you would probably need about that, but it's all easy to look up. Most of the things I've noticed about medicinals out there, since so many people got involved since the Rona thing, and it's been searched down so much, is just them putting down the disclosures or the doubt or the fear that it ain't been tested in humans. Yeah, it has. This shit goes back 5,000 years with the Chinese, like I said, 2,000 years, over 2,000 years with the Hindus. That's the 2 largest populations of people, by the way. About 12 to 1,500 years in Eastern Europe or Europe, period. And well over a couple thousand years with different tribes here, but damn sure the last 1,000 years here. The reishi mushroom have spread all across our continent. So around the world too. You're seeing lucidum down there by you, Lana, growing on palm trees in Florida. Look up reishi on palm trees in Florida. Now, you ain't got to be buying from nobody here pretty soon. And that sounds like the dumbest businessman in the world would tell you something like that, right? Well, I am the dumbest businessman because I ain't one. So you can't be dumb or smart. But anyway, it's there everywhere. Judy, my friend Judy out here, she got out there and found a boatload of fucking reishi and stuff and sent some. That's right in there. And that's making this possible. The rest of it, I just dig that shit up like the motherfucker I am. There you go. And dry it out, grind it up, get it to you. You get it in a tub. You get it in a tea. You get it in a capsule. You get it in some liquor. I don't care. You get it inside of you. You be well. And you be thinking. And you're probably going to be one of the people that come up with something so we can take these motherfuckers out and have our new beginning with a future for our kids and nobody left behind or killed. That's the type of thinking we need. That's going to take every bit of fucking thinking we all got. And I'm being very real about that. Even if we never had been poisoned or we got frequencies fucking with us or brain fucking bullshit out here, twisting bullshit out here. We got ourselves into a pickle. And here's how we get out. All right? And think about that. I love y'all. Just want you to be well and buy some stuff. Anyway, y'all, that's it. Except for don't live in fear.